Slow English, a chance to brush up your English listening skills while enjoying a traditional folk story. It's Slow English. Mr. Justice Wang had a steward who was possessed of considerable means. One night, the latter dreamt that a man rushed in and said to him, "Today you must repay me those 40 strings of cash." The steward asked who he was, to which the man made no answer, but hurried past him into the women's apartments. When the steward awoke, he found that his wife had been delivered of a son, and, knowing at once that retribution was at hand, he set aside 40 strings of cash to be spent solely in food, clothes, medicines, and so on, for the baby. By the time the child was between 3 and 4 years old, the steward found that, of the 40 strings, only about 700 cash remained. And when the wet nurse, who happened to be standing by, brought the child and dandled it in her arms before him, he looked at it and said, "The 40 strings are all but repaid. It's time you were off again." Thereupon, the child changed colour, its head fell back, and its eyes stared fixedly, and, when they tried to revive it, lo, respiration had already ceased. The father then took the balance of the 40 strings, and with it defrayed the child's funeral expenses. Truly a warning to people to be sure and pay their debts. Formerly, an old childless man consulted a great many Buddhist priests on the subject. One of them said to him, "If you owe no one anything, and no one owes you anything, how can you expect to have children? A good son is the repayment of a former debt. A bad son is a dunning creditor, at whose birth there is no rejoicing, at whose death no lamentations." And that's the end of the story.
Am I Radio.